But firstly, to Fiji, where a journalism academic fears a section of the country's electoral decree that prevents foreign involvement in September's election will stifle debate. Section 151, that's Section 115 of the decree, prevents any person or group that receives funding from foreign governments or organisations from conducting forums, debates, meetings or publishing any material connected to the election. Pat Craddock from the journalism program at the University of the South Pacific in SUVA says the decree has already forced one NGO to cancel a debate that had been planned for Media Freedom Day next month. He told Liam Fox the section of the electoral decree is highly restrictive.
One of the clear things is that people who are working for NGOs or get any money from anyone, Australia, New Zealand, EU, if they get anything, they cannot engage or take part or conduct any discussions or anything relating to the elections. So from the point of view of journalists, it seems highly restrictive because you literally cannot, like you cannot or I cannot go and get an interview with somebody from an NGO in Fiji talking about the elections, even if they're not talking about campaigns, but they're talking about basic education, sort of how to vote, how to think wisely about your vote, that type of thing.
I understand it also prevents other things like, organising forums to discuss electoral matters, perhaps policy issues, also potential voter awareness campaigns that are funded by foreign NGOs or foreign governments. Is that right?
Yes. Well, I can give you a little example. Media Freedom Day, which is May the 3rd, we were thinking, and an NGO was thinking of organising a debate on media freedom, which seems a good idea. And the topic was going to be something on reporting on the elections before and after, which seems fairly straightforward. Now, the NGO can't do it. We were going to give them the use of facilities on the USP, and they can't do it. But ironically, because we're an educational institution, I can organize it, or anyone else in the university can organize it, as long as it's a university-based idea. But basically, it seems to be putting a big chain around the NGOs, but not on people in the university who do it here as part of education.
And how did this NGO become aware that they weren't able to do this? Were they notified by the government?
There have been several NGOs that have been a bit wary, so I think they've been talking to each other. And my understanding is that they've been becoming aware of what this restriction is. They can get hit with a huge wallop, $50,000 or imprisonment, 10 years, or both. So from my point of view, it's scaring the hell out of people.
And what impact do you think this section of the electoral decree could have?
Well, I think it stifles discussion. And one of the ironies was we have this Media Industry Development Authority, and I was at a public meeting the other day, and they actually said in their press release they wanted an ethos of robust debate. So the way I read it, they are not going to get that, because an ethos of robust debate means that you've literally got to go out and get points of view sort of here, there and everywhere.
We've seen in other countries in the South Pacific, governments like Australia and New Zealand fund things like voter awareness campaigns, letting people know how to fill out ballots properly. We certainly saw that in Papua New Guinea ahead of their election in 2012. So this electoral decree would prevent things like that? Is that what you're saying?
That's the way I'm reading it, yes. I'm not a lawyer, I'm a journalist educator, but I'm sort of reading that it's stifling debate. Because if you think of the NGOs are run by local people in Fiji. There's so many of them. There's women's rights, constitutional, Save the Children. You can sort of go on. And they cannot take part in formal debates because they're banned under the Section 115.
What do you think the motivation behind this part of the decree is?
I can only guess, but the worst interpretation I'm going to give is some sort of paranoia The most gentle would be that people in government think that the NGOs are pushing political barrels for Australia or New Zealand.
Pat Craddock from University South Pacific's journalism program speaking with Liam Fox.